What do you say?
So we've got time to read it from cover to cover.
Yeah. It's alright, one more go.
When we bought the house, this was the whole top of the stairwell. Not only was the plaster ruined because of the roof leaks, there was felt in the roof gutters instead of the lead. But the roof leaked quite badly, and but the whole top of this stairwell was just empty space. The rectangle of the stairwell just continued up to the ceiling. Such a waste of space. So I decided, with the listed buildings people permission, I decided to extend the room you're standing in which you're standing now, and build out over the stairwell to create a bed and a cupboard, and this cupboard off the landing, this one here, which is wardrobe depth. And then of course in the study, I took out this wall which separated the room from the stairwell, and that's the bunk bed, or the box bed if you like, which is now available for this room. I finished the outside, the stairwell side, fairly early on, so that I could decorate the stairwell. It was decorated once upon a time, but it took me a while to get round to finishing off the inside, and when I did, I had time to plenty of time to work at these things. There wasn't quite the urgency, or I wasn't so busy, but I allowed my attention to detail and perfectionism full rein when I got here. The mattress, original mattress we had here, was much thinner than this one. This is a pocket sprung mattress which we've acquired since. But the original mattress was about half that depth, and we put into the space. I built into the space above these, under these bedhead table surfaces here. Sorry, you'll appreciate. Let me just point out that that's the wall, and from there on down, it slopes. There's the slope of the ceiling underneath. But I made these sliding doors so that Duncan, I think it was, who had this room, could put stuff in there. I don't know whether it was Duncan's room or your room now, I can't remember.
It was Duncan's room.
It was Duncan's room. So he had space to store things in there, and you can see there are a few things in there still. But those doors slide beautifully. And through the base of that cupboard I can also get access to the light which is in the ceiling, the recessed light which is in the ceiling of the half landing underneath. But that's, I mean, they're straightforward enough. Those two just slide to and fro without too much difficulty. If anything, actually, they're a little bit too easy, because they tend to lift and get knocked out. But this was this was the one I particularly enjoyed doing. It's that's fixed because that has the sloping surface of the ceiling underneath. But these two are sort of interlocked, so that they're two stages. If you can reach over the top and look into that, you can see that that's the slope of the ceiling underneath, and of course that's the end of the space. But these two doors, if you look down there, you can see the channels where they slide. One goes that far, and one goes right to the end. The front one goes right to the end, so that when I just take the front door and pull it that way, it slides by itself, and then it picks up the second panel and slides both together. Do that again with my arm not in the way. It first of all moves by itself and then picks up the second panel. Or of course you can push it from this end
Okay, so on the theme of hiding places and
hiding
secret places.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, wasn't it? Yeah. Oops, I'm tripping over the felt there. Yes, there are other hiding places in the house, which most of which I think are downstairs. Do you want to follow me?
Mm. Do you know where the hiding places were in this room that I had?
Well, one of them I know is underneath the shelf of the, underneath that bottom shelf.
That's right.
Which I built there. But apparently there's another one under here which I didn't intend as a hiding place, but which you discovered as a hiding place.
That's right.
This one. Which is there. Nothing in it apart from dirt and
dust.
an insulated pipe and a couple of cables and the remains of an iron pipe which is there. But you discovered that it's got a solid base to it, because whereas the rest of the floor is the underfloor is earth. Solid base, because this used to be the original kitchen of the house, so there would have been a kitchen range here. In let's just throw that back. In the 1920, when this space was turned into the 1920s reception hall, this was rebuilt. I think the whole chimney breast was rebuilt, and this became a mock fireplace. And when I built that wall and created the guest room, I altered that a bit and continued the skirting along, and then of course the bottom shelf was the top level of the skirting, and there was a cavity between the bottom shelf and the floorboards, and that the bottom shelf is loose, and that's the that's the other hiding place.
That's right. And I thought, since it's got some of your books and LPs on top of it, we could look through them in order to ultimately get to look through that cavity. For the first time in about 20 years, I think, since I've opened that up.
Which end should we start? I think probably
And
start.
you can dip into the top shelf as well if you want, because that's where some of your books are.
Yeah, the top shelf it contains all sorts of odds and ends, and there, from there to there, is habitat catalogues going back to what might be 1971. The original habitat catalogue, the very first one. This is our second catalogue, is what it says at the top there. Dear customer, this is our second catalogue. It has been increased in size by a third. Maybe we don't have the very first.
No, maybe not.
National Habitat catalogue, which would be a pity, but never mind. They're still of interest, of considerable historical interest. If you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you like that sort of thing.
What else is along here? I'm not going to move it. Various
This one,
art
Les
books.
Folies du...
Oh yeah, Les Folies du Musical. Remember that one?
Sorry.
Go on, you get it
This
out.
is a book which Paul bought me for just after Christmas 1972. He gave me this. Les Folies du Musical. To Sue with love after 10 years of our own follies. So I won't tell you what that means.
But there is a significant date associated with that. We've got other odds and ends here. What's this? That looks interesting. Oh yeah. Oh, it's half a book. It's in two pieces. It's fallen apart. A modest history of the pin-up.
Oh my God!
And I think that's got.
That's pornography. That
No,
one.
it isn't. Actually. It isn't actually. Well, some of it is. Some of it is tasteful nude shots, but they're pin-up photographs through the years. history as well, including going back to the 1890s, Lily Langtry.
Clark Gable. Douglas Fairbanks.
Yeah, so the male pin-ups as well.
Rudolph Valentino.
Heroes of the screen, that is, yes. And then Brigitte Bardot, look. Moving life. Film fun. Titbits. Gosh, remember Titbits?
Yeah.
I don't think they really meant Titbits.
No, they didn't. I remember my mother used to object to me reading that because she thought that that's just what it meant.
Girly magazines, the other modern ones, the raunchy ones.
Yuck.
Dad feigning yuck sounds.
No, I never did find those particularly attractive.
He said convincingly.
He said convincingly. Yes. You believe me, don't you? Oh gosh, I can't get that back in there. I'll try to get it in without folding the pages back again. That's it, got it. So, and there are art books. Oh, I just started to take that. There's another art book resting on top. I'll have more room for my fingers. It's the modern. That's one of my early art books about the various modern artists, or what were artists that were modern artists back in 1962. Oh, I hadn't realised that. That was my upper sixth form prize for science. So there's my science 1962 for science 1962 awarded to P. Brokager by S.M. Price, headmaster Sam Price. But there you go. I mean, that was interesting. That for my science prize, I chose a book about modern art.
For my French prize, I chose a couple of books written in Pitman shorthand.
This is the warship Vasa. Now, when during one of my early visits to Sweden, in Stockholm, they had discovered the wreck of the warship Vasa, which was a little like the Mary Rose, but actually slightly better preserved than the Mary Rose. And during the various during the course of several visits to Stockholm, I saw this wreck being gradually recovered. But here's the book about it. They've got it. They raised it and put it into a museum, and that's the book all about it. Oh, the brand new Monty Python Paperbock,
that's right.
Paperbock, yeah, and a Odom's New Atlas of the World, which probably is not that new anymore.
No, it's probably Ernest's.
I'm glad I pulled that out because I had no idea where that was. Inside that, and I'll get it out, is a cardboard 45 RPM record with a modern art image on it. So when you put that on a turntable, you get this image spinning. But if you then put a needle onto it, there's a recording on that. That records the sound. Oh dear, I think that's a little gap there. It's been spoiled. Might be. There's the sound of a self-destroying sculpture. Where they're talking about this thing now.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I think that surface has just been damaged because it's stuck as it came out. Let's just see if something on the back of it. Maybe not. I don't know. There is a postcard which shows the sculpture.
Okay, that's great. We'll play that.
We'll play that one, but I'd like to play it only once. It needs a
Yeah, we need to record it
I'd like
properly.
to play it only once and record it.
Yeah.
So that's a project for another time. Did I say that record came from the Modern Art Museum in Stockholm?
No, I don't think you did.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, that's where that came from. We collected that during one of our visits to Stockholm, which might, as a complete aside, have been the year that we went to, that we were there when they changed from driving on the left-hand side of the road to the right-hand side of the road. but that's another story. Let me put this one back, and we'll tackle the bottom shelf.
Yeah.
Now, records first or books first?
Which do you prefer, Mum?
Which would you go?
Records.
Records, okay. Let's take the great masters Claude Monet out of the way. Our books get bigger and bigger now. It needs a dust. I'll try not to disturb it or shake it around. Ooh! With
that's
that, on
mine,
top of
I
that,
think.
that's yours. Susan Starr and her very first book, Christmas 1945. AAP? Who did AAP?
Auntie Agnes, my godmother.
Auntie Agnes, gosh, there you go.
Agnes A. Postlethwaite, Agnes Ann Postlethwaite.
Right.
With a little drawing by me on the front.
Really?
Age
Aged
1
baby.
month.
Aged baby. Let me just get a focus. Is it a sword? Is it a scribble?
Yeah.
There's some pages missing, it looks like.
Yeah.
I tore out the pictures.
Can you turn back and look at the inscription at the bottom of the first page? What does it say?
Her very first book, Christmas 1945, Agnes Ann Postlethwaite. It's laughing at the story.
What is the story about?
It's about a little girl called Susan who had an adventure, and she says in the end, I expect you think it's all a dream. Well, it really did happen. You believe me, don't you?
Sort of an Alice's Adventures in Wonderland sort of story.
It says, people laugh at me now and say that my adventure must have been a dream because the stars are millions of miles away. She went to a star, you see. But I know that it is all true because hidden at the root of the biggest of 3 trees is my beautiful star. I visit it every day, and there I remember what a lovely time I had with the little people of the sky. You believe me, don't you?
Right, let's go through the records.
Put Susan's star on top there.
Yeah, okay. Now then, what have we got? Got an insulating sheet of polystyrene tile to insulate it. These first, and I'm going to need to take all of these out if I'm going to there, so if I'm going to get into that. So we've got the first up to there, I think, is all these cover copies of compilations of pop.
Top of the pops.
Top of the pops. Ooh, where are we? Oh no, there's the first one is the Popeye songbook song folio. I don't remember that. I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember any
I
of
Popeye the
these.
Sailor Man, sing a song of Popeye. That I don't think is one of mine, but it might have been one bought for the children.
Chris, probably.
Chris, yeah.
Don't think
I have
so.
no recollection of that one whatsoever. It is, anyway, there we go. That's Popeye song folio. How exciting. Then we have loads of just compilations of cover copies. What are they called? Is cover copies the right word?
If other people singing other people's
singing
songs.
pop songs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
that's-
they're
It's a cover
copies.
version, yeah.
And we got Chartbusters Volume 9, Hot Hits 16, Hot Hits 17, Hot Hits. That's probably one number 1. Come on, Feel the Noise, Tie a Yellow Ribbon. So basically,
Oh, I like that yellow
Yeah.
ribbon around the old oak tree.
and hot
They've
hits.
all got scantily clad ladies on them.
Hot Hits 13. Specially
earth is
prepared for Avon Tires by CBS Records. But I think that's just blame it on the bossa nova. Turn, turn, turn. Right. Done that. Don't suppose I shall ever get around to playing any of those. David Oistrakh with the Cacciaturian Violin Concerto. I can't remember what that is. 61 in Barrow,
So I met you.
Plymouth in 63. So yeah, that's basically I was methodical enough to record where I got these records. Glenn Miller. That was the 5th LP which I bought. Glenn Miller Original Recordings.
Wow.
Oklahoma. Nothing particular about that except that.
I was in the show
Sue
in
was in the show in-
1968.
Yeah. In Glastonbury while I was away at sea.
Do you have anything to say about that, Mum?
Well, we actually performed when Paul came back. He was helping backstage.
Oh, you were helping backstage, Dad?
Was I? I had forgotten
Yes,
that.
we
Yeah.
were.
I can't remember what I was doing backstage, but obviously I was roped in. I can't remember. Another musical. Sue was keen on musicals. That's the Desert
The Desert
Song.
Song, because our group did the Desert Song in Wales.
Then we've got children's records. The Rescuers.
These were Chris's, I
That must
think.
be Chris's,
That was Chris's.
yeah.
The Pinocchio.
Though I did have tape copies of them. Pinocchio, yeah. Although I don't have a tape copy of that.
The Railway Stories. Johnny Morris.
Yep. Grew up on those.
Yep. Jungle Book.
Yeah, and that
Then we
too.
got South Pacific, another of Sue's musicals.
Oh, I got that a long time before I met you.
Yeah.
I didn't realise we still had a record player when you were working in Newcastle.
Oh yeah. CDs didn't come in. I started collecting CDs after I'd finished in Newcastle. What's this one?
Yeah, but there were cassette tapes in between.
Oh, there were. Well, I mean, yes, I recorded cassettes off the radio, and copied other people's LPs onto cassette. Kate particularly. Kate's I copied a lot of Kate's LPs onto tape, and her CDs because she already had started her CD collection. I don't know what this is. The Magnificent Basso, Michael Lipaz, Zoltan Rosman, start again. Magnificent Basso, Michael Lipaz, and on the piano, Zoltan Rosnian, Carlo Balladi, and the Mozart and Verdi arias. So it's obviously one, I don't know where that came from or why, but it's not the sort of thing I would expect to buy now. Selected arios. Sorry, arias. I said arios because it was, I read the word Osiris, Isis and Osiris, so my diction went into the Osiris before I finished it. Anyway, right, what else have we got here? Oh, gold. Pavarotti, a young Pavarotti. Oh, it's another copy of the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
Good grief.
Unless it's 1 and 2.
No, it's 2 copies of the same record.
That explains why one of them is still wrapped.
Yeah. Well, it's been opened. It's been opened. But one.
Is that Pavarotti?
No, it's not actually. It's
No.
Michael Lipaz. But it looks as though it could have been a young Pavarotti. But why on earth have I got 2 copies of that? I wasn't even aware of that. Sitting here now, that's the first time. I would say that's the first time I've ever seen that.
Maybe you bought it on a whim.
Perhaps it was probably was. But why 2 copies? Goodness knows. Right.
Maybe
Here we
you
have-
borrowed one from someone and didn't return it.
Now here are an LP with here is, I should say, here are 2 LPs in covers with nothing on the labels. So those are mystery LPs. It'd be interesting to play those and see what's on them.
Hmm.
Yep, I've got no idea what those are.
Hmm.
Right, that's an interesting one. Open Music Diversions, Bob Downes. We came across Bob Downes when, as a friend and playing colleague of John Eves. John Eves, you know, of course, he's the guy who introduced me to painting, and he lives just along the road there. He's now turned 80. This LP is signed, is by Bob Downes, and it's Bob Downes, Barry Guy, and Dennis Smith. But it's signed by Bob Downes and Barry's Guy. And I bought it at one of their live shows. But it's interesting. It's flute, double bass drums. It's open. That's quite a nice LP, that one. Guantanamara, the Sandpipers.
That's yours.
That's one of mine. Yeah.
You don't you remember that at all, Mum?
I do remember. I remember it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I've never read that. Music for the tiny hours, melodies for afternoon and harmonies for any time. Songs for the sad, easy, lazy, softly sounds. Take them or leave them. Pleasant, present notes without message from no separate era or source. In other words, easy listening. Fire Brigade, The Move. I think if I'm remembering,
Fire Brigade, get the Fire Brigade.
I'm remembering that as being one which I bought on the pier. It's got 85p Gainwell, and I'm remembering that as being one which we bought when we were on holiday camping in Cromer in North Norfolk. That was the year that I got shot by somebody pinging cars with an air gun. And I bought that LP from the shop on the pier in Cromer. God knows why I remember that. I have no idea, but I remember very well buying that one at that time. More classical stuff. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I bought that one because of the cello concerto. It's Elgar's cello concerto with Jacqueline Dupre playing it. But that was when I discovered Sea Pictures by Janet Baker, and I think that was probably, no, there's no date on that. That was probably when I became entranced with when I began to be entranced with the voice as a classical instrument.
Yes.
Janet Baker's singing of Sea Pictures, Elgar's Sea Pictures, Sea Bards Are Asleep. Stay Young with Eileen Fowler.
That's Mother's.
Exercise one, is it? Oh God!
Dominique,
The singing nun.
To simplement routier, vibration.
Dominique, yeah, that's right. Bought in 1960.
Il ne faut que du bon Dieu.
Cabaret Night in Paris, number 5. Oh, I've got my signature on that. Collapse, collapse, collapse. I've signed the back of that. I don't know why.
Make it more valuable.
Perhaps, yeah. Anyway. And then we've got some...
You must have loaned it to a school friend or
Maybe I
something.
did, yeah. Books. Century of Naval Construction, D.K. Brown. Life on Earth, David Attenborough. Treasures of King Tut. That's the catalogue from that exhibition in the Royal Academy all those years ago. I can't remember. That was back in the days of Sydney Place and the Sydney Place crew. And the story associated with that is that we went up. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I uncranked my knees, suddenly stuck.
We can't. Did we go with the Sydney Place?
We went with the Sydney.
certainly took Chris.
Yeah, we did, and we went up, and there was a 4-hour queue to get into that exhibition.
Where was it? In
At the
London?
Royal Academy. 4-hour queue. So Sue said, I said, we can't possibly spend the entire time that we're in London queuing to get into this show. And Sue said, that's what we came for, so we've got to do it. So I said, well, in that case, let me go to the front of the queue and buy the catalogue, so at least we can read the catalogue while we're queuing. I went up, and I spotted a sign saying, become a friend of the Royal Academy. Benefits being, you get immediate entry to any exhibition. You get free use of the Friends Coffee Room, and it happened to be in February, so and they were giving away that year's Royal Academy calendar. The upshot was that I think it cost us a couple of quid more to join as Friends of the Royal Academy. It cost us a couple of quid more to go in, and the effect was that we'd spent it cost us a couple of quid to save us 4 hours of queuing with all the other benefits that we got. Anyway, we're now down to, sorry, there were a couple of other books here. They're all art books. Nothing of great interest and that's worth pursuing. Pompeii exhibition too. We're now down to
the bottom of your mug.
The bottom shelf, the bottom of my mug, and the bottom shelf, which hasn't been uncovered for how long?
20 years at least, yeah.
When did I build this wall?
Well, that was mid-80s, but that's not connected to it. I was using this room.
But that was when I also created this cabinet.
Yes.
So as far as I'm aware, once we filled this shelf, once we stacked this shelf, it never was uncovered again. So whatever's in here is not disturbed for 20 years. Now the question is, are we going to find some amazing house treasure?
Unlikely. It'll be a toy that I didn't want to have regular access to.
Or it'll be nothing in there.
Or nothing.
Right,
Yeah.
stand by.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh! What's in there is
a load of rubbish.
A load of toys, including
Yogurt pots.
yogurt pots with the feet on them. What were they called?
Those are called fiendish feet.
They were fiendish feet. That's right. A jar of Vic.
Yeah.
What was that for?
That's why I said there was a load of rubbish in there.
It still smells of Vic. Some toy cars.
So what are
Toy cars. Ex-ratty. Thoughtful.
Is this all your stuff?
This is all my stuff, yeah.
Comic relief. A little
Bagatelle.
bagatelle game. Cheerful chippies.
You've got to have it 11.
Yeah, it is more or less. You'll be pleased to know I've scored 550 plus 250, which is 800 on that go.
Brilliant.
A folding nail scissors,
Cracker present.
an envelope.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's an envelope which is dated. It's addressed to me. The only thing this was, as Lucas said, there's a shopping list on the back. Oh, no, the reason that's in there is that it says cake, candles, telegraph, etc. Card for Chris Wood plus Sue, tape cases, AD 120, Sue's present, request bank statement, habitat blind. So it's a shopping list. And then on the bottom of it, Giles, remember that today is Mum's birthday. Oh yeah. Oh, there's that thing. Yeah. That, which I won't try doing anything with, or shall I? One more go. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Hard to do it. 5 new pence piece, the size of a 10.
The size of a current 10, yes.
Of a current 10, yeah.
Same as the old,
the old
1 shillings.
The old 1 shilling, that's right. Yes. Oh yes.
With its beak missing.
Duck with a beak missing. Pencil sharpener. And this skull, which we handled several times, rubber skull.
What you did was you'd squeeze that,
Yeah.
submerge it in water,
Oh, I see.
and then you'd release it and it would fill with the water and then it would squirt.
Oh right, I see. Oh yes.
It has a
Except
hole
that
where the nose is.
Oh yeah, I can see the hole where the nose is, but of course it's now got a great big hole across the bridge of the nose. What fun. And the sponge at the that would have been
Violin chin rest.
Yeah, that's right. Wiggly giggly. I am a wiggly giggly with a spindle. Curious thing.
Do you remember it then, from the first time?
I do remember that one, yeah.
It might have been a toy that you got me.
I think it possibly was. It would have appealed to me as an engineer.
Yeah.
Oh! Yeah, good, okay. Right.
Let's put it all back then.
Well, the question is, do we just now put the shelf back?
Yeah, we
Put the
can.
shelf back, and then we can put the books and LPs back once a bit later.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's the shelf going back. Oh, hang on.
That was always tricky. That's one of the reasons I didn't put anything in there that I wanted regular access to. It's difficult.
Yeah.
That's it. Thump.
Thump, thump. Right,
Thanks for that.
okay. Because it's absolutely... See, that's the one thing we didn't do, was vacuum the tops of the books off. That would have been just too much, wouldn't it? And then a thing by a composer called Winterhalter, that's the fellow who's actually doing the thing, called The Back of Her Head. What a wonderful title for a song, The Back of Her Head. An aura staccato, golden earrings, wind gypsy. Ugh. All this stuff will never be played again. Bob Downes, Barry Guy and Dennis Smith. But it's signed by Bob Downes and Barry's Guy. And I bought it at one of their live shows. But it's interesting. It's flute, double bass drums. It's open. That's quite a nice LP, that one.
Sealing those toys away again for another 20 years.
Yeah. LPs that will never get played. Like videotapes that will never get played. I hope when we get to the end of this there's enough space for
them all to go, you mean?
all to go. Yes, actually that was in there, wasn't it? I put a little box and I wrote the date that I bought it, how much it cost, where I bought it, and the number, just the sequence number, if you like, of the LPs. So this was the 76th LP that I bought, and it fit